Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today we have a very interesting program. Um, from next month, as we were discussing, is the Cyber Security Awareness Month, and we have Mr. Kaushik Pandya to chair this wonderful session. Mr. Kaushik Pandya is a cybersecurity consultant, a certified national cybersecurity scholar, and NSD certified cybersecurity governance professional. He is an experienced and skilled information security and cybersecurity expert with a demonstrated history of working upon cybersecurity and information security as a whole. He is an IT entrepreneur managing a network solution and system integration company named Culp Systems in Ahmedabad since the last 35 years. He is a leading project consultant in the field of ICT industry, e-commerce, human resources, communications, financial services, real estate, healthcare, or other specialized areas. By education, he is an electronics engineer and has a diploma in electronics engineering, extensive information technology training and certifications related to networking and servers information security management system, known as ISO 27001:2022. Lead auditor, a certified national cyber security scholar by Information Sharing and Analysis Center, India's leading cybersecurity non-profit foundation. He is an NSD certified cybersecurity governance professional and expert in governance, risk and compliance in relevance with security. Mr. Kaushik is also a strategic IT advisor and board member in National Institute of Mass Communication and Journalism, the first ever its kind of German journalism institute. He is also a consultant CIO to many schools, hospitals, as well as corporate firms. He is also an immediate past president and advisor of FAIITA, Federation of All India IT Associations. Mr. Kaushik, a founder president of FITAG, Gujarat, which is the umbrella association of Gujarat of all IT associations. He is also the past president of ACMA, Ahmedabad Computer Merchants Association. Today I would like to felicitate him on the behalf of AMA and would like to ask him to please host this wonderful session. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to all of you for this open session of AMA on cyber security awareness. And I am thankful to AMA for organizing such a session for the members of AMA as well as for the people, those who are interested in this particular subject, to come here and get an overview of the things. So a humble request, પાછળ બેઠેલા લોકો જરા આગળ આવી જાય તો કંઈક જરા મને સારું લાગશે કે કંઈક ભરેલું છે એવું લાગે, પેલું વચ્ચે વચ્ચે ખાલી ખાલી લાગે છે. If you don't mind, please. Thank you so much. So, as introduced by this nice young gentleman, I am Kaushik Pandya, and I am past 35 years I've been doing in IT solutions business. I am a cyber security specialist as well as information security specialist. બંને અલગ domains છે. I'll explain you what is cyber security and what is information security also. And then there is a third dimension also which has been added of late by government, that is known as data privacy and protection. So these are the three main domains now when we are talking about anything as far as cyber security or information security or data protection and the privacy talks. We are here because of, as he mentioned, world over, October month is celebrated as Cyber Security Awareness Month since 2005. It has been first introduced by USA in 2005, and પછી slowly, gradually, like the way we introduced 21st June as the World Yoga Day, same way they introduced Cyber Security Awareness Month, because cybersecurity is a kind of a subject which cannot be learnt or made aware within a day or in a session like this within an hour. But what I am trying to give you an overview of, basically, what are the kind of threats posing around, what types of threats are there. It is basically addressing to youngsters, as well as it will be addressing to the people, those who have reached to my age and beyond my age. Everyone, those who are managing technology or handling technology nowadays, because of the digitization of rapid digitization which is going on in our country, which has started specifically with during COVID it has started, I would rather say, and then it is gradually increasing, and every day it is increasing. Every now and then there is a new introduction, new phenomena, new technology which has been added. Like very recently they've added that UPI can now be transacted with your credit cards also. So it's a new addition. So, but with the increase of the digital transactions and with the increase of the digital or a technology introduction in any of the financial transactions, you would always, have a pose or have a threat, being cheated. It may happen that somebody may use your password, somebody may use your XYZ kind of information and try and, fetch either some information or fetch some money from you, knowingly, unknowingly. It may happen that these kind of things may happen in front of you. You are actually going through that kind of an incident and you are seeing that my money is being stolen and you can't do anything. These kind of incidences we have been seeing it left and right every day. So today's effort is basically to make you aware that what kind of cyber threats are prevailing into the market, what are their types, their main types and their subtypes, and what could be the best way to remain saved out of it. That is what the overall talk is all about. And then we will have a 15-minute question answer session after the end of the session. This will take at least 45 minutes to 1 hour, and I'll try to be more, as much as possible, interactive rather than going through the slides. Slides are of course there for your knowledge, but we would try to make it more and more informative rather than interactive, because the interaction would be left upon for the last 15 minutes, right? So moving ahead, there are some 6 topics we would be touching upon. Why cybersecurity awareness is needed, first one. Second one is what is your needs of backups and updates. Third one is why the passwords are very important. Fourth one is what is MFA, what is 2FA. The fifth one is internet safety and email. And the sixth one is phone scams and privacy concerns. So these privacy concerns are not basically data privacy. I mean, data privacy is DPDP is basically Digital Data Privacy Protection Law, which has been introduced by Government of India in very recent case in November 2022. It was tabled, and now very recently on 11th of this month only it has been passed by the Parliament. So that's a different topic altogether, but we are not touching that. It's a very complex and very intense topic, and it's not of common interest, so we are not touching it. So this is what we are. I am running a company called Kalp Systems. Past 35 years, we are a consulting firm. Past 10 years, we have been diversified in cyber solutions and information security solutions. Those who would like to know more about us can visit our website, that is kalpsystems.com, www.kalpsystems.com. After the end of the sessions, those who are interested to interact with me also we can have a small chat on that. So why cybersecurity awareness? This is a very important question. Why cybersecurity awareness? So cybersecurity, many people, I have seen many people asking me or asking a general question that why banks are not taking appropriate actions, why credit card companies are not taking appropriate actions, why UPI is not allowing, why it is not designed in such a manner that nothing like this or no fraud can happen. So that's not possible, because the things would, there is a 4-dimensional aspect to the transactions or any aspect which is related to cybersecurity and information security. There's a 4-dimensional aspect. One is operational. This is not written here, but as an offshoot I'm telling you. The first one is operational. That you have, wherever you are doing the operations, you've taken care of your operations in such a manner, you've designed your operations in such a manner that it remains protected, it remains safe. So first one is the operational aspect of it. The second one is basically the people, which is basically this slide is talking about. People, if those who are operating those operations, those who are doing those operations, if they are not fully trained, or if they are not made aware of what is going on in the world and what are the cyber frauds and what are the threats and what are the precautions against them which are needed to be taken on a periodical basis every now and then. Because threat hunters are always one step ahead than what we are. We are into defense, right? So then when there is a missile designed, then there is a Patriot missile designed, Otherwise, things would not work. I mean, unless there is a missile which is firing from one end, whether it is a ballistic missile or whether it is XYZ cruise missile. But to counter that missile, you need to have a Patriot missile, and that is why we are there as a defense mechanism. We are the people, those who do audits, we do provide them circuits. But in that case, the overall very key aspect of the complete awareness campaign is the people. If people around you and people as the operational hand, if they are not fully aware that what to do and what to not do, then there are always problems and always frauds may happen. This will keep on happening. So these kind of cybersecurity risk awareness programs should be carried out for employees, for business owners, for parents, for kids, for seniors, for everyone, school children. Specifically, those who are into 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they feel that they are very smart enough to handle the technology in such a manner. They sometimes, teach their teachers also. Madam, aisa nahi aisa karo, aisa nahi aisa karo. I've seen classes happening in that manner. So they are to be taught, and they are to be made aware of that these are things to do, these are things not to do. That is what the entire awareness is all about. But as I said, attackers are always ahead. They know a lot of things ahead than you, ahead than us, ahead than everyone. That is their business. There are things happening in dark world, deep web, wherein every now and then there are, for an instance, I can see many young generation sitting here. There are firewalls, right? And those firewalls are basically deployed to protect anybody coming from outside to that particular organization, or the people, those who are working within that organization, to remain within their organization safe and secure. But technologically, the people, those who are into dark world and deep web, have developed bots, those who can continuously run programs which will try and hack your firewall in a split second. It's not a manual task. There are bots. I mean, we have seen such instances where there are 25,000 instances going on within a span of 30 minutes. So those kind of advanced threat management or threat deployments are prevailing nowadays. So you need to be careful about exactly what attacker is interested into. And these are the main subjects where attackers are mainly interested into, because ultimately everybody is somewhere. See, there are two aspects of this entire cyber security and information security world. One is the data. Anywhere from everywhere, if you are getting the data is the value today. In today's world, data and today is not, but tomorrow's world, data would become gold. And it will have a value like a gold. So that is why government is keen, and even everybody is keen to protect the data. So that is the first thing. And second thing is money, of course. So these are the only two things which would, the threat hunters would be interested into. Either they should get money or they should get data. These are the only two aspects. From where? These are the things. Credit cards and financial data, right? Medical data, that is prescription, insurance and identity frauds, far more valuable than financial data. Then crypto mining, advertising in ransomware, spam sending, recovery, reset accounts, lot of other actions. So just to cite an example, I'll be keeping on giving you examples of everything. So just to cite an example, very recently, before I think 4 or 5 months, there was a case somewhere in UP that people have used the Aadhaar card fingerprint, which people have deposited on the agreemental portal of government. There is an agreement, dastawej, we call it dastawej. So dastawej, when you give an Aadhaar card as a copy, that Aadhaar card is scanned. Right, and it is kept, because government now have decided that everything is to be scanned. So the Aadhaar card is scanned there. People have picked up the fingerprint, the thumb reader or the fingerprints from those Aadhaar cards and used it to, use their Jan Dhan link accounts to withdraw money. So the people can think to this particular level also. So don't think that we are safe all the time. We are not at all safe any time. So that is what we have to understand and we have to think about. And the entire talk which I am giving today is basically on that how we can be protected, or how can we try to remain protected, and what all actions we can take on. So the help, and who would help you? You yourself would help. Taking certain precautionary measures, certain very important measures, which will help you left and right, day in, day out. Right? So basically the first important thing is that you have to keep your data available all the time with you. So we believe that our data is not important. We believe that the data can go and come. We can regenerate the data. It's not the case. So data backups, there is a economics which is given to you, which we would go first to. Only 25% of the users, they take their backup yearly. 20% users take their backup monthly. Right? 20% users have never taken the backups, and 11% of the people, those who take it daily. So we have data backup provision in every tool which we are using, whether it is computer, whether it is mobile, whether it is XYZ technological thing. But are we really taking the backup of it? If you are using some kind of tools which are available with an automated backup, fine. But those backup features should be enabled. And if they are enabled, the backup, see the biggest mistake everybody makes is that they take the backup on the same device. Now this is a disaster. Now if you take backup on the same device, what will happen if your device gets hacked? Or what will happen if your device is destroyed? Or what will happen if it gets lost? You are losing your data, you are losing your backup also. So backup practices should be like that. In the interest of time, I will not get into too much of that details, but the backup practices should be that if your data is there on your phone, it should be backed up either on a cloud or somewhere else, or on a local device wherein you can retrieve that data. So data has to be always there, then you would remain safe. Correct? So take your backups, make it up a point. Backup is a must. You must take a backup and keep your data, keep the copy of the backup at least at 2 different places. So you are safe at most, right? So updates. We all are computer users. We all are mobile users. And we know that, I don't know, I mean, in India we have a practice that it's a prevailing practice that half of the people are now using legal license versions, but half of the people are using pirated versions also. So the pirated versions are normally not updated, and the updates are very much essential because there are bugs, there are loopholes in every software, and these threat hunters, those who are high level programmers, it is their job to find out bugs from these programs and to get into and use those loopholes or use those bugs to get into those programs, and through that particular program they would get into they'll try to get into your computer, and then they try to fetch very important information from your computer. So it's always important to update all your softwares, wherein the updates are not general updates. These updates are basically updates which are which gives you security updates. Whatever the security updates are being introduced by all the company, whether you're using Microsoft or whether you're using something else. If you're using Tally, for an instance, for your accounting data, so the Tally also needs to be updated. If you don't update it, that can be utilized to get into your computer through a some whatever bug or whatever loophole they find out. They introduce a malware into your computer which will build up over a process. These malwares are not malware is a very interesting phenomena of building up. Malwares are inserted in any, like I'll give you an example of a browser. If you're using Chrome, and if there is a vulnerability defined or identified in Chrome, that there is a new introduction of new vulnerability identified. Who will do the identification of these vulnerabilities? Computer Emergency Response Team, which is sitting in Delhi, which is known as CERT. Every country has a Computer Emergency Response Team, and their job is basically to look after that such kind of incidences. When they are happening, they should be immediately they are the first one to identify those vulnerabilities and introduce to the local people, and further let you know that to avoid these kind of instances happening with you, you should do this. So for an instance, if there is a vulnerability introduced in your Chrome browser, so what will happen, that if you do not update your Chrome will introduce an update, and it will automatically update, or it will manually get updated if you do it manually. But if you don't update, there are chances that threat hunters may get through that vulnerability to your computer and introduce a small portion of a malware, and that malware will sit into anywhere in your computer. Now that malware doesn't build up immediately. That malware will be a 5% portion of the entire program which is supposed to be installed on your computer. These programs are very sophisticated, very advanced level programs. So they keep on building up, and they keep on calling the remaining portion of those programs from over the net, and they keep on building themselves. And one fine day that there will be a complete malware installed in your computer without your notice, without your information, and then it will be, your data will be hacked. Your computer will be hacked. So updates, coming back to the point, updates are essential. It has to be updated, all your softwares. And that is why the legal applications are always advisable to use. If you have pirated versions, God may save you. So this again, system OS, whatever operating system you are using, Windows 7 is obsolete. So those who are using Windows 7, they should stop using it. There is no support from Windows 7, from Microsoft for Windows 7, and then there is no support from Microsoft for Windows 7 means there are no security updates. So that means that your operating system is not going to get updated. And when it is not being updated, you are vulnerable. Right? So stop using Windows 7, upgrade to Windows 10. Right? These are the browsers which are very vulnerable. Whatever the browser you are using, everybody has a tendency of using more than one browser. I use 5 browsers. For different application, I have different browsers. But whatever the browser you are using, you please keep a practice of updating those browsers on a regular basis. Right? Otherwise, you will end up probably having problems. Similarly with the mobile devices also. So whatever new update is there, it's not that just for the sake of the, of course, there might be 20-30% updates released for their marketing and for their, business gimmicks. But rest of the 60, 50, 70% of the updates are pretending or pertaining to the security aspect also, right? So, third very important aspect is passwords. This is normally what people take an approach about their password. Their dog's name, their cat's name, their probably their birthday or whatever, So it's just a sarcastic statement that you better, I need to change my dog's name also if my password is hacked, So, but don't keep a password like this wherein you need to change the passwords. I'll give you some beautiful examples here. So, what you should do, never write your passwords on any stickies or any such notes, and don't stick anywhere, because people can read those things and people can, or they can take a snap of it and utilize it anywhere. Don't store your passwords in Excel sheets or a clear sheet kind of a thing. Try to use password managers. These password managers there are free password managers available, but I would rather advise you to spend for a password manager, which is a very nominal cost. N numbers of password managers are available. If you use it, you are the most secure as far as your passwords, recollection or storing of those passwords are concerned. But if you are keen and if you are very, I would rather say that if you are very, very, very much aware of yourself that you would not make a mistake, then there is a practice that you can keep your password in Excel sheet and keep that Excel sheet password protected, have only one Excel sheet with different types of passwords. Keep on changing the password of that particular Excel sheet also every now and then, every week or something like that. Do not ever store that Excel sheet over the web. So, these are the very common kind of a thing, but if you do it, you are gone, some days. Because if that sheet is gone to somebody, if it is leaked, all the passwords will go. One more practice. Keep your financial passwords and keep your other passwords in different, boxes. Add a buono, like that, right? if you are storing it in an Excel sheet or something like that, or in a paper sheet like that, paper in the sense that I'm not advising to write anything, never. But if you are doing it electronically, storing into a Word sheet or an Excel sheet, keep separate things for separate activities, right? You can use password managers, as I said. Password managers are safe to use, and then there are no major issues. Normally, paid password managers are good to use. So people have a tendency ke why to use and why to spend money, but these are costing you what, 100 rupees or 200 rupees a month. So in today's world, 100, 200 rupees is nothing. I mean, people can spend that much easily for storing their very valuable, vital information, right? So password tips. So avoid using what? Addresses, phone numbers, pet name, child name, birthdays, sport teams, all those things. Do not use those passwords at all. Separate password. Some of the people I've seen, not some of, but the majority of the people have a practice ke ek password go ki rakhe, and then that password is the password which is being used everywhere. No, please don't do that. Because if once you are leaked somewhere, once you are caught somewhere, you are gone. The entire data everywhere, wherever you have. And finding you out on different platform, once we have an information for you, is very easy for people like us. We can, once we know one bit of information of yours, we can find your complete, complete history and complete background and everything. So it's very easy, right? So some economics for you, some numbers for you. 42% rely on the sticky notes for password management, which is dangerous. Reuse of password for multiple accounts. As I said, 52% of people are doing that. 59% of the people use name or birth date in their passwords. Disastrous. I mean, you should never do that. And only 13% reuse same password for all accounts. But this is the extreme disaster. If you do this, you're gone. One fine day, you will end up losing everything. Probably you will end up losing a large amount, or probably you will end up losing a lot of information in relevance with you and your family and whatnot, or probably your business, whatever, right? So you should keep what kind of passwords? Password should be a combination, and it should be minimum of what we suggest is that minimum of 12 characters. If you can keep it 15 characters or more, fine. But it's better to, like the last line is an example of the great password. That is 25 characters, right? My son was born on November 1995 with an exclamation mark. So this includes capital, this includes small letters, this includes numbers, this includes the symbols. And it has a large number of characters. So more number of characters, more the password is complex to crack down. So there are, let me skip this slide. There are passwords, this is just for your information, this is something which is very unusual to get and very important to understand. You have if your number of characters, the first column says number of characters, right? So more the number of characters, and then there are complications, numbers only, the second column. The third column is lowercase letters, fourth is upper and lowercase letters, the numbers upper and lowercase letters, and number upper lowercase letters and symbol. So if you have numbers upper and lowercase letters and symbols, the password is more difficult to get cracked, along with the number of characters which have been shown here as an increasing number of characters. So the 18th character password would take, only if it is numbers also, it takes 3 weeks to crack, right? And if it is All these 18 character with all these combinations, it takes 438 trillion years to crack, right? Even with a bot also. So more complex the password, you would remain more safe. And frequent change of the password is again very important. So, but when you are changing the password frequently, then there is a possibility that you may forget it. So then there is no problem. I mean, if you forget the password, then there is a way to recover that password, number one. Number two, that you can keep such password managers, as I mentioned, right? So as soon as you change that password for whatever application or whatever tool which you are using, you can immediately update it into your password manager. And if that password manager is installed, if you are doing things from your computer, it will automatically take care of it, right? So make it more complex. If you don't make it more complex, at least have 4 combinations, numbers, upper lower characters with symbols. And I would advise at least 10 to 12 characters minimum for a password. At least if you do this, if you keep this practice. For banking also, I have seen people, they are using passwords like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you, and that person would have, lakhs of rupees lying in his bank account. So, it's not guaranteed that if you even do these passwords and do complexity of the password, you are all the time safe. So, these are the examples which we have given you, that how many such pawn accounts, if your passwords are given or passwords are complex, or if they are changed frequently also, then still there are pawned accounts. And see the number, 12 billion. Right? The 12 billion of the accounts were stolen from a hacked site and apps. And this happens on a regular basis. These are annual figures. These are not figures till now. These are annual figures. So it's so vulnerable. The world is so vulnerable out. You cannot take it lightly. Right? So you should be very much careful about your passwords, change it frequently, keep a proper length, keep proper combination. Yeah? There is always a feature which is called multi-factor authentication in most of the websites now, most of the services which are being offered to you now. Most of the banks, most of the applications related to banking, most of the emails, most of the data storages have MFA, that is multi-factor authentication. What is multi-factor authentication? Is basically that when you enter your password, it will still ask you for one more thing, that is probably your OTP, or probably every time new thing, which is not a repeated or one time decided kind of a thing, which you have to enter, which may come on your email. Very recently I have seen that banks have started doing an 8-character OTP splitted into 2, sending one onto their mobile, one portion to their mobile and another portion to their email. The utmost safety. So that is how many factors authentication? 3 factors authentication, right? So one, you have things on your own password, you have one coming on your email, one coming on your mobile. Yeah, SMS, correct? So this is, you have to take it for granted, get it enabled. If it is not, if you are not aware how to make it enabled, please connect with your bank, go personally to your bank, or call up that, if you know somebody in that bank, and if you are sure that you are talking to the right person, then only call up. Otherwise don't, call somebody who is not known to you. But get this thing enabled. Normally it is very easily enabled, and The practice is very prevailing nowadays with the banks also. Banks have also introduced the floating keyboards. Most of them, those who are using internet banking, must be aware of this. That with the punch in of every character, the keyboard display changes. Every character jumbles. Yeah. Why is this done? Can anybody answer this? So keyloggers. So keyloggers are basically malwares. You know, the earlier reference which I was talking about. That if you have a malware installed in your computer which is logging in your keys, they would rather identify from the keys which are logged in from the keyboard layout of your computer, that this particular keys are logged and so the password is this. So while doing an interaction over the bank, never enter your password with the keyboard. Use always a mouse. You have a virtual keyboard there, floating virtual keyboard there. Enable that virtual floating keyboard and enter your password through that virtual floating keyboard only. Some of the banks have not introduced a floating keyboard, but they definitely do have a virtual keyboard. So what you can do is, here there are two safeties. One, you are using a virtual keyboard. That means that you are not doing key logging. And when you are not doing key logging, that means that you are safe in respect with any malware. If it is installed, it will not log the password. And in case if there is a floating keyboard, you are the utmost safe as far as that particular password security is concerned, right? So (99.9%) as I have written here, 99.9% you are less prone to compromise if you are using multi-factor authentication. So wherever, even I suggest that you should use even in your Gmail also multi-factor authentication, right? People may take a kind of a stand, you know, આપણી મેલમાં ક્યાં એવું બધું બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ હોય જતાં આપણે મલ્ટીફેક્ટર એથેન્ટિકેશન, but one single loophole may create issues for you. So don't take it lightly. So ransomware, everybody must have heard this word. What is ransomware? So ransomware is an actual thing, you know, ek vakyam definition. We have seen a lot of Hollywood movies, lot of Bollywood movies where people are kidnapped, and then you know, people ask for money to let them go away or let them come back. That's the same thing is happening with your data in the world, in our digital world, and they hack your computer, they encrypt your data in such a manner by introducing a malware. It is again a malware. So by introducing a malware into your computer, they encrypt your data, encrypt all your Word file, doc file, you know, Excel files, even your tally data or any other accounting tool which you are using, anything, everything. They will not let you use your computer. And it's basically you are at a halt. So that is why the first step, that if you have the backup, you are safe, right? But if you don't have a backup, either you have to lose the data or you have to pay this guy, and pay is in lakhs of rupees. If they are business related critical data, what would you do without your data? You know, so you may end up losing lakhs of money. And these guys are very smart. They ask you to remit money with bitcoins. They may ask you to remit money through, you know, some unofficial sources wherein, you know, they cannot be traced. They are basically the people from deep web, dark world, and they are not surfaced. So you cannot catch them. Even if you go and inform the cybercrime department, they will lodge a complaint, but they are unable to trace these guys all the time. Hardly 1 or 2% or 5% they are able to trace them. So this is very important. how to avoid ransomware. This is very important. So every time, I would rather give one more example in this, but let us first talk about how to avoid this. So every time when you check your email, there are possibilities that you may get an email stating that this particular email came from Amazon, that you have a gift voucher for you. You've won a gift voucher, and if you click on this particular link, it will be enabled for you, and then you can use it anywhere. So this link, maybe it's known as phishing, but that is also used for ransom. And if you click on this, any of the link, these are called in our language, they are called payloads. So they have various types of payloads. There are PDF files also would contain payloads. There are links, HTML links also would contain payloads, which will enable a malware installation into your computer. These malwares are very quick. They are not like a small portion gets into your computer and then it takes its own time. No, they are very quick. They get into your computers and they encrypt your computer completely. And you will get a flash. You will get a message that your computer is hacked and it is under our control. All the files are encrypted. This is an email where you are supposed to contact. Sometimes there are mobile numbers also, and then they ask you to get in touch with them to get a decryption key. So the files which are encrypted needs to be decrypted to let it come to the original form. And if you need to get into its original form, you need to have a decryption key. So you have to pay to them to get that decryption key, because that program is designed by them. So this is how ransomware works. So don't click onto any of the unknown links. You might receive a kind of an email wherein, if you are a business owner, if you might receive a kind of an email wherein एक example I have given you is of Amazon. The other example which I may give you is an email which will give you that you have a purchase order and that there is a PDF attached to it. But if that party is unknown to you, if that's not a regular party, and if you have not dealt with that party, you do not know the background of that particular email, and you would never imagine that this is a kind of business which we have dealt with, or is this a party which we are dealing with. Check with others before clicking on the link or on the PDF. Otherwise, it may create an issue for you. The worst part of ransomwares are that when it gets installed in one of the computer, it's spread across your network. So whatever the number of computers you have in your network, all the computers gets affected, including your servers and including your backups. So you are lost completely. So that is why when I said you should keep multiple copies of the backups, keep copies of those backups at some different place, not at the local place. Not all the copies of the backups at the local place. Why? Because of this. That if you keep them, this is one of the reasons. The other reason is if a disaster has happened, probably a flood or an earthquake or fire or something like that, your data is gone, because your data is there and even your backup is also there. So ransom, it's very important to have these things. Another very important aspect here is that don't use your company emails for your personal stuff. Right? Because then it gets mixed up that you may get an offer over your business email and you may also get business deal over your business email. So you are prone to click on wrong emails and you will fall prey to whatever it is, right? As I said, don't store your passwords in text files and other things, right? So how to remain USB safe? So only one thing everybody knows, most of the people knows now, what is USB safety and all those kind of things. I'll give you one small example, and that is very important for many of you must also be knowing this thing. When you are traveling internationally I have seen many of the people using their mobile chargers cable directly plugging into the charging pod which is available in international airports. I mean, of course, on domestic airports also those things are available, but these kind of incidences are happening rare in domestic airports. They are happening mainly in international airports. So when you plug in your cable to that USB charger, USB charge port, there are all possibilities that in the back of that particular USB port, that port is compromised. And it is fetching, or it is inserting a malware into your mobile, or it is fetching data from your mobile. So don't do this. Never. If you want to charge, apni paase charger to hoye j, plug into that charger into the socket. Don't plug the USB port directly into that USB available, USB charging port available onto it. Never do that. It's very vulnerable. And I've seen people's mobile getting hacked, they are getting, completely out of control once they do this. So, what is a wire fraud? I'm skipping this in the interest of time, because wire fraud is basically, a thing which is related to a business corporate, wherein, they may receive a kind of an email from their CEO or from one of the top authorities that I am in need of some money, and send me this money immediately. Now that mail is a completely dummy mail. It is not generated by that particular person. And then, that guy transfers the money because he would feel that this is an email generated from their CEO or COO or CFO, and they would transfer the money, and then the money is gone. It is, you do not have any traces of it. There are ways and means you can protect getting prey to these kind of frauds, but let's not discuss this in the interest of time. You basically need to verify all the links which are coming to your emails or wherever it is coming from. So quickly going through these very important steps. Verify that whether you are expecting this link. And if you are not sure, please ask your colleagues, your family members, are we expecting, or are we into business or into dealing with this kind of, any transaction or anything like that. So, if not, stay away. 2, you can hover over without clicking on that particular click. If that click is a dummy click, if that link is a dummy link, it will show you while you hover over in the sense that you have to take your mouse onto that particular link and stay there, don't click. And if you stay there with your mouse at that particular link, it will show you the actual link where it is taking you to. Okay, and if both those things are different, you are falling prey, or it is going wrong somewhere. So hover over that particular link. Third thing is, as I said, do you find it sniffing? Do you find it familiar? If you don't find it familiar, forget it. Don't click it. And if you still have a doubt on it, the fourth thing is don't click it on it. Delete. Right? So, again I am skipping this. I will give examples. But see, this is a kind of an example wherein you would, Amazon lakhelu hai, but that Amazon may have a 2Z. You would never notice it. And you click on it, and it will take you to some other site. So hover before it. Like if you hover on this, like what it has shown, that treetop esecurity.com, any par hover karo. If you keep your mouse there, it will show you where it is sticking to you, right? So these are the things. Email attachment, 92% of the malwares are delivered by email, as I mentioned. Business emails compromise, as I said, that CEOs na dummy mails or CFO and or your financial advisor or your financial or your accountant would send you, you would have a mail, with an exact notification and exact kind of details that this is what it is, right? But that's not the case. You are gone, right? So where is the mistake? Check a mistake. Where is the mistake? No, sir. No, sir. See, it's very simple. To the. Can you find the mistake? This is what happens every day. આ ઇન્સ્ટાગ્રામ પરથી લીધેલું છે. It's very common. I mean, એટલું બધું આવું છે કે મગજ બંધ થઈ જાય. But this is the commonest example I am giving you. What is social engineering is all about? It's distraction. So this is a distraction. And then that distraction leads you to misdirection. And when you are misdirected, your complete trail is different. You don't have an alternative. ખબર જ ના પડે એને પૂરું થઈ જાય. Then I'll give you an example. Do I have some more time? Do I have some more time? Yeah. If everybody prefers, everybody is enjoying the session. Yeah. Should I continue? Thank you. Thank you. So I'll give you an example. One of my friends, who is a chartered accountant. He sits in Jaipur. He is having a chartered accountant firm all over India. And one of his colleague lady had, they designed him, they designed that girl an audit job. And that girl went to that audit job and they were doing audit. They were busy in audit. She received a call from the bank that I am your relationship manager. Now these private banks, they have this very common relationship manager. And since you have 3.5 lakh rupees in your account, which is not, we've noticed it and we have seen that it is not being utilized, why don't you convert it into an FD? Now, specifically for senior citizens, these kind of things may happen. Don't entertain them. This girl, because although she is a chartered accountant, she is vigilant, she is aware of all these kind of frauds happening to everywhere, every world. She ended up giving OTPs to that guy, trusting that guy that he is a relationship manager. She never bothered to check back, even calling the bank, that this is a real guy or not. Firstly, she said, no, I don't know to do this. Then again, after half an hour, she had a call, ma'am, this is what special case we've identified you, these, that, all, good sweet talks. Fine, she said, okay, do it. What is the kind of interest you're going to give me, these, that, falana, dikna. She was convinced. She gave OTPs for 3 times and 3.5 lakh rupees gone. And immediately after the incident, I received a call. Boss, ये हो गया. बोला हो गया, अभी कुछ नहीं हो सकता. But that's not the case. If it happens, if this kind of incident happens, immediately inform your bank. And then there is a procedure wherein you can inform RBI also within a stipulated time period, and RBI can keep a check on that and put your money not transferred if it is not really transferred in such rapid manner. So they may get your money back if you report it in a proper time and proper format to real concerns. But do not entertain such calls. Mara father, I used to receive a lot of calls. My father passed away at an age of 85. He used to have calls every now and then that, there were some policies in the past that you had to pay only 3 premiums. LIC or Reliance or any other kind of policies, you would, you Kotak or all those kind of policies that you pay 3 premiums and you are done, and then they are linked policies with the market, and then you would probably get a lump sum amount at one fine day. Now my father used to get calls every day that your 1 premium is, sir, pending, and if you pay that 1 premium, you will be benefited by this much rupees. Now he never used to recollect that when did I have invested into this policy. So he used to give my number to that guy. And whenever those kind of guys calls me, you could have imagined what kind of treatment he must have got from me. So this happens, every now and then. So be careful about it. Don't entertain any such calls. Bank will never call you. No financial advisors may call you if you have a trusted financial advisor, but no banks will call you. And if bank is calling you stating that I am from so-and-so and from so-and-so bank and I am so-and-so and I want your so-and-so detail, please mark it as a fraud. Bank will never call. That's a mandate to the bank by RBI. That do not call your customers. And that is why they are taking your KYCs again and again. Every 2 years they are taking your KYCs. Why they are taking your KYCs? Because they want, what is the way and means they would understand you as their authenticated client. So this is the only way they can do it. And that is why they are updating your KYCs on a regular basis. Otherwise your account goes dormant, if you don't update your KYCs. But don't ever respond to those kind of calls. Paisa jase. And take it from me, you will surely end up losing money in case if you fall prey to these kind of people. And they are calling from, somewhere in the remote region of Bihar or somewhere in the remote region of, Jamtada is one of the known, Jharkhand is Jamtada, and then there is one Nu, the Tamal Thayali, the Haryana Nu. So there are multiple such, people where the business is this. They keep on calling, they have SIM cards, N numbers of SIM cards. They keep on swapping those SIM cards and calling you. And you don't have a trace because they use those 1,000 rupees Nokia phones. So they can even tear that phone in 2 parts. They can tear the SIM card into parts, just throw it away, period. You will receive, one more example I'll give you. You will receive a kind of an SMS. I received the same kind of an SMS. Electricity bill. That your electricity bill is due, and if you do not pay it by today evening, your connection will be disabled. હવે જિંદગીમાં કોઈ દિવસ એસીએ આપણને ફોન કર્યો કે કોઈ આવો મેસેજ નાખ્યો? ના, એ તો કાપી જ નાખે છે. તો they don't inform you. You know that by an experience that this doesn't happen with torrent power or AC. Why do you fall prey to that SMS and calling? If you call that number, if you click on that link, your phone is hacked, right? And whatever information you have in your phone is passed on to them. Correct? So this is what is all social engineering tactics are all about. Social engineering is a very deep subject. I can talk for a whole day on this. These are simple examples which I am giving you. આવું બધું ડેલી લાઈફમાં થાય છે. એટલે don't fall prey to these kind of things. It is a humble request. Keep your mind open. Keep a reference always. Whenever you are receiving a call from somebody stating that I am so and so from your bank, I am so and so from your Fanana Digna depository or from stock related, kind of a thing. Keep your mind open that is this a guy whom I'm really supposed to interact with? And why is he interacting with me? These are the two questions which you are supposed to ask for. And if you ask these two questions, you are mostly saved. Mostly you are saved. Right? Ask questions. Don't listen to them. Whenever they call, ask questions. Why did you call? Did I ask you to call? So if that guy is a fraud, he would run away. You keep on asking questions. How do you know my number? You are not my relationship manager. I don't have a relationship manager. If somebody asks you that I am your relationship, you can say that I don't have a relationship manager. Which branch? They don't know. So, ask questions. Don't listen to them. Ask questions, and most of the cases when you start asking the question, the person who is on the other side is not able to answer all your questions, and you would, if you are remaining alert, you would catch hold of that guy, that this is not the right person whom I should be talking. So, social engineers are basically banks, credit card companies, medical insurance, your IRS or any past due account balance, આટલા પૈસા તમારે ભરવાના બાકી છે, kind of things. Objectives is basically to access your sensitive info. Right? What is phishing? Now this is very important. We'll sum up with this, but this is very important. There are 7 types of phishing which are available. Specifically, this I am touching it upon in quick manner because time is running out. This is specifically for youngsters, and most of you would be knowing most of the things, but still I am getting into it because this is the important thing in today's world. Right? What is phishing? What are phishing scams? Right? It looks like an email from your bank, your Paytm, your Google, Amazon, anything, right? Or even from your CEO, CFO. Very important mail. And you can't miss this. It will have an exact lookalike like what you have been getting every day. If you have a domain, like I have an email which is culpsystems.com, I will have an email from one of my culpsystems.com account only. So I would trust it definitely, because culpsystems.com is my account, my domain. But you should not trust, right? You should be very much careful about these phishing scams. Do not trust. Keep going into every information of every email, the sender, the content of the email, the links which are there, right? And most important thing is whether you are expecting this or not, right? There has to be a clear-cut context. If there is no context set to that particular mail, do not entertain that email, do not even open up that email also. There are 2 buttons on every laptop or every desktop. Shift, delete. It will permanently delete that email. Right? Don't even keep it there also. What I am trying to say is. Correct? Second one is spear phishing. Spear phishing is very, in common language, explain karu to spear is basically a bhalo, and there was a technique when, people used to have spear, a bhalo, to do the, when they are doing the hunt, probably doing the fishing. Juni evi peli tribals ni techniques હતી કે they used to have the spear અને આમ પાણીમાં જોઈને પાણીમાં માછલી હોય તો એને આમ મારીને એને એ માછલીને પકડી લે, મારી રાખે. So that's what the exact spear fishing is all about. So spear fishing is basically happening into the business domains. They identify one particular person, 1 or 2 person or a particular group, and then they start sending or collecting information about that particular guy or group, and they try to fetch important informations after taking that guy into a very good loop or very critical kind of a relationship they establish with them, and they do it. How many of you have heard of the colonial pipeline breach? US ma there's a company called Colonial Oils, right? This Colonial Oil is basically supplying oil through a pipeline from the northernmost portion of US to down the southernmost portion of the US. And this pipeline's entire IT was sabotaged, and it was hacked. The tactic was spear phishing. So they had identified a few people, and they had worked upon those people, and then they found out their passwords, they found out some important information from those guys, and then they used it to hack this guy. According to my knowledge, the deal, they had to pay the ransom, and according to my knowledge, the deal was some billions of dollars, in Bitcoin. And then finally, their FBI could get into it and get some money back, not the full of the money back. So spear phishing. Then smishing. Smishing is basically sending a text message like what we said. Okay, AEC no message. This is smishing. So anything which comes over your SMS, which is not expected, is smishing, right? So Google search scams. આપણે બધા generally Google Dada is the greatest one. Whatever we search on our phone or whatever we search on our search engines we consider it as authentic. No, it is not. The links which are coming 1 to 3 can also be a fraud. This is an example of, the first 1 or 2 links are itself, they are paid, but they are fraud. So if you trust on them that the pelu biju ave એટલે તો they are, we have to trust them because it comes from Google. No, that's not the case. Study carefully before clicking on that particular link, that whether this is really a useful link or not, or it is really a link of the site where you are supposed to go to. And once you are sure that yes, this is what it is, then only click on it. Normally when you do this, please keep a practice of clicking it and opening it into a next tab, so it remains open, and every new tab you have a new site opened, so you can study that at peace, and you can refer it with whatever is available at the back of on the first page. So that you can do. Social media scams. Every now and then there are n numbers of social media, FB, Insta, everywhere there are dummy accounts, and people try to use into. You know better than me on this, so I am skipping this. QR code scams. So in restaurants or any other places where you have a QR code, જે હમણાં આ બેને તમને કીધું કે ભાઈ QR code scan કરીને feedback આપજો. So because it is AMA, we are trusting them. But if somebody gives you, if you normally go to any restaurant, and if now there is a practice prevailing that everywhere there is a QR code menu, there is no menu card printed. People are saving money on it, right? So how this fraud happens, that they are laminated standees, right? Inside that laminated standees, they insert a paper with a QR code, and then they are kept on the tables to take you a snap of it. The internal papers are replaced, or everything is same, but only the QR code is replaced. So whenever you are clicking on that QR code, you are misdirected. You have gone to some other site, and those sites are almost the same replica of what you are If you're in a restaurant, you would, by clicking on that QR code, you would open up a restaurant menu, and then it'll, even if it is fraud, it will also open up a restaurant menu. If you place an order there, the order is gone somewhere else. The money is gone somewhere else. Yeah? So, wishing is voice phishing. The people call you up, and calling from bank, calling from this, calling from that. So that's voice phishing. I've already explained you this, so don't fall prey to this thing. This is a phishing example. So what do you need to have? The red flags: sense of urgency, purposeful confusing, and expected call from. Are we expecting this call? Microsoft is just an example, but are we expecting this call? No. Why muki de? Don't discuss. So what protects you from phishing? Yeah? So it protects, if it is urgent, don't let the emotion cloud your judgment. Very important statements, right? So you cannot think emotionally when it matters to your data, your money, your anything, your privacy, your medical data, your health data, whatever. Call back and verify. Tell them that, boss, I'll call you back. Give me your number, right? Ensure that you are talking to a correct person. Whether if somebody is called you from bank, nobody will call you from a bank. Ask them to, I'll call you back, and verify it, right? Check the address. Always check the email address and URL for spelling mistakes. The one which we have seen. Enable multi-factor authentication, which we have already discussed. Look at the style of the message. The style of the message is also very important. Deep subject, not getting into it, but you can, and the most important thing, as I mentioned, keep on asking questions. These people are always afraid of questions. They will run away if you start asking questions. So public Wi-Fi, I am not discussing. This is important. I'll go to the most important last two slides. So in case, everything I have said, blah, 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 whatever, Gnan I have tried to give you, and whatever, the red flags I have tried to raise to all of you, it may happen that you have fallen prey to something. Some kind of incidents has happened to you, maybe a smaller amount, maybe a larger amount, maybe something which is not financial, which is something related to your data or something. So what do you do? So first of all, there you unplug your computer, right? Then you contact your technical support. Okay, bhai, mara machine ma, there's some compromise in my machine, so please come and have a look at it, right? If you do not have an antivirus installed, please take it a call that you must install an antivirus. Many of the people take it in that manner that there is a built-in antivirus in Microsoft, why should we install an additional antivirus? But no, you must, because the antiviruses offer you so many additional features. Like it gives you a banking browser, safe banking browser. So if you always, whenever you are doing the banking, you must do it from your computer, don't do it from your phone. Although you have beautiful apps from your mobile phones but phone doesn't have safeties, they are more vulnerables. So it is always advisable to use banking through your computers, right? And whenever you are doing this, and if you find anything suspicious, you can immediately close the browser, close the computer, shut down the computer. Do not restart or just put it on a sleep mode or put it on a hibernation mode. Shut down the computer, because the malware has a tendency to reside into the memory, right? So if you shut down the computer physically, power shut, then it will wipe out the memory. And once the memory is wiped out, then that particular instance of malware is gone, right? So shut down the computer. Correct. So we have this is a link which we have given for our own website, wherein you can report your, in case if you have a breach, you can report onto our website also. The most important thing is that we have a national cybercrime reporting portal introduced by Government of India. This is very important. This is cybercrime.gov.in. Okay, and on this, you go to this particular website and there is a file a complaint button, right? So you can click on this and you can file any kind of complaint. This is nationally available. How it functions, that when you file a complaint, that complaint is re-verified by them. They will call back and then they will re-verify it. And then it is passed on to the specific local cybercrime police station. And then they will also call you and they will give you they will also verify the information and they will start taking actions. So it has been noticed that 85% of the people, those who are victims, do not report their cyber crimes. Please don't do that. Because of probably the system in our country or our states are not so well designed that you always get a prompt and better response from the relevant departments, doesn't mean that you should not report. Please report the complaints. And if you report these complaints, the more the complaints, the more the actions, more the knowledge will be passed on to the people, those who are countering the threat hunters. પેલું ક્રૂઝ મિસાઇલ જે ખબર નહીં પડે તો પેટ્રિયોટ ક્યાંથી બનશે? So it's like that. I mean, if you do not report, if you do not really inform that this kind of incident happened with me, it will not surface. How would that guys know, he came to know, or the police department came to know in some corner of the UP that these people are bloody using the Dastavej scanned Aadhaar copy, Aadhaar card for this. There are another instance wherein people, there is આપણે ત્યાં આ બધું બહુ પ્રિવેલિંગ નથી, but in small villages in remote parts of India, things are there કે the postman can work as a bank, હરતું ફરતું bank, and you can get some 2,000 or 5,000 rupees directly from that postman. So there the Aadhaar authentication is required. So that can also be utilized as a fraud, and it has been happening, right? So whenever you have any such instance, please report it to this portal. In case if you do not have portal accessible, there is 1930. આપણા દરેકના મોબાઈલમાં this number needs to be stored. And wherever we have any such instance, કોઈને પણ, in case if you have somebody who is going to us facing problem, or if you learn it that this has happened to him, please ask him to report it on 1930. Both the mechanisms are same. It will finally go to cybercrime.gov.in only. The database and the bank is common, but you have to report. So it is my request that please report any crime which is, and please encourage people around you, your relatives, your friends, your colleagues, everybody. Please encourage them that in case of any such fraud, they should, any kind of even a smaller incidents, maybe ઘણાકને એવું હોય કે ભાઈ 500,000 રૂપિયા ગયા છોડને ક્યાં કમ્પ્લેન કરવી, but that could be a tip of the iceberg. You never know. So that may catch up a whole gang. So please do not hesitate to report a complaint, right? So 1930 or cybercrime.gov.in. I mean, this is this is a central line है sir. ये I cannot comment on this. Correct, but you may be right. You may be right, sir, but it is not my it is not my purview to comment on this. So, but people are, I've seen people, those who have reported on both the platforms and, it functions. So, he may be true that sometimes it is not accessible, but, 1930 and cybercrime.gov.in is working, right? So, all open to you. Any questions? Yeah. In the interest of time, I had to, quickly finish this, but we can discuss these things. Anyone who is interested to, let me convey this, that anyone who is interested to, have these kind of sessions at your level, you can definitely be in touch with me. 1 minute, question I already asked.
સર આપણે રેન્સમવેર કે કી લોગર એ કોમ્પ્યુટરમાં ઇન્સ્ટોલ છે કે નહીં ચેક કરવું હોય તો આપણે પોતાની રીતે કઈ રીતે ચેક કરી શકીએ કારણ કે
antivirus is the endpoint security is the best way to do it.
એન્ટીવાયરસ ઓકે
See, there are various level of antiviruses, right? So you should not get into a very common, very small level of antiviruses like what the Bitdefender is. You should have a specialized endpoint security virus protection, which would just to cite an example, maybe Symantec, maybe McAfee, maybe the Indian joa jaye to Quickhill, something like that, or even what is this I am using? ESET. These are all good products, and it gives you a lot of features. એટલે આ બધું તો થાય જ થાય, but સાથે સાથે it gives you so many other things also. So firewall integrated and banking protection integrated endpoint security, which is known as a good, this is the name which we use, endpoint security, but it is basically an antivirus which gives you all these features.
બટ એન્ટીવાયરસ સ્પીડ બહુ ધીમી કરી નાખે
Not necessarily. Depends on what tool you are using. Yeah, please. Joje bhai.
So this is Piyush from National Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar. My question is, we know bank account and UPI do KYCs and are linked to Aadhaar card. So the fraudster bank account is also linked to the Aadhaar card. So whenever fraud happen, why it is difficult to catch the fraudster by the law enforcement agencies, and when the flow is so simple, like Aadhaar se linked है लेकिन फिर भी पकड़ना इतना मुश्किल क्यों है?
Obviously, they are much more smarter than you, and much more smarter than me. So, whenever, see, this happens in day-to-day case.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you have a cure, there is a new virus coming up, right?
Yes.
This is how the medical world works. This is how the cyber world works. We cannot, I am a defender, right? And your bosses, your sirs, those who are sitting there, you ask Nilay bhai or Digan bhai, are they able to defend everything? No, not possible.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because every day there is a new introduction. There is no zero-day vulnerabilities.
True.
We have defined it as zero-day vulnerability, but I doubt who will define that zero-day vulnerability. Tell me.
True.
Is the CERT, which is sitting in Delhi, is really in a position to identify the zero-day vulnerabilities all the time? So this is a continuously churned process. Every day there is a new introduction, every day there is a new cure to it, keeps on going. You have to decide that how to protect you, yourself, your organization, to the whatever level you want your protection to be. That's the best way to handle these things, right? Even police also, sometimes we blame police, cybercrime police. These kind of things. No, I have handled those kind of cases where the cybercrime, IC4 and all other crime agencies of our country are not able to solve those problems. I am not naming those cases here. IC4 is the topmost agency of India.
Yes.
IC4 involving into those kind of crimes, not able to find the results. Can't help it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. My question is, 99% India is using a Microsoft. So let's come to a corporate. Corporate is also using a 95% of so not a Microsoft, Windows. Sorry. So
That is Microsoft. Huh?
can we switch to Linux like Mint and Ubuntu? Is it possible if most of the 65-75% corporate shift to the Ubuntu and Linux OS?
It is possible, very well. I myself used to, operate upon Linux. I used to have my laptop working 100% on Linux for so many years. And there are so many flavors of Linux available, you can definitely use it. But because Linux has a little less user friendliness in comparison to
Windows.
the Microsoft platform, and the population wise Microsoft has a very large number in comparison to the open source platforms. That is why this imbalance in both the operating systems are there. People are using Linux mostly in workstations, in servers, left and right, because they are more. It's not that they are more secure. I mean, Linux can be more vulnerable, right? But because Microsoft is a proprietary system, they have more good defense mechanism, available. Because Linux is an open source system, it has a vulnerability identification in a delayed manner, and the patches also run in a delayed manner.
Okay.
So that way it is more vulnerable, right?
Okay.
But
so
even use. I mean,
I
the
heard
question
that
was.
means Linux is a more secure than the Windows.
No, that's not the
Yeah.
case. That's not the case.
It's not a true.
Because the popularity of Microsoft usable machines are, Microsoft using machines are large.
Okay.
Because of that, the threat hunters are developing malwares and viruses purely for Windows, and there are very less population for Linux and for Mac.
Yeah.
Correct? So that's the reason.
That's okay.
This is not true. It's a myth.
Yeah.
But the fact is this. There are viruses available in
and second
Linux
question
also.
is where the India stands in a cyber attacks, ethical attacks like. So recently, today is a Indian-based private hacking group attacked the Canada military website. They hacked the Canada defense websites. So like that, where the India stands in terms of attackings and cyber attack.
I would not like to answer this.
Okay.
Because it is out of syllabus, number one. Number two, that if I start answering this, it will be a very long answer. So it's not advisable to. But just to cut short, just to give you a brief, that there are organizations under the government umbrella working specifically for the purpose you mentioned. Not secret society, there are open societies also, but they are funded by government and they are basically working in this direction, and there is a cyber army which is prevailing in this country as of now. NSD, which I am talking about, which I am certified for, that is National Security Database. I am proud to be a NSD member. So NSD is one of such cyber force, and we work for that. Yeah, sir, आपने कोई question है?
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening, sir.
Actually, every day we are getting a large number of SMS and email. And at number of occasion, we are giving our mobile number, email, even PAN card and Aadhaar card. I doubt that it may be a government agency or private agency, a bank or security trading account. They may be selling our data and giving this phone number and email. So what happened every day morning when we are screening our mail, out of 100, only 4 or 5 email are useful.
Correct.
So our first duty is morning to delete unwanted messages. So how to avoid this? Because it is a general and routine process to give our mobile number.
Sir, એવું છે કે
Second thing, sir.
જી.
These hackers are come with new technique every day and every time. So people are encroaching under this technique sometime. And this is a continuous process.
It's a
And
continuous.
it is going increase and increase.
Yes, sir.
And last thing, one sentence is there, Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi. You may be expert and I am a layman.
Correct.
I may not be engulfed in this trap.
Correct.
Sometime you may maybe
I agree.
fix in that
Fully agree. Fully agree.
network.
Fully agree, sir.
So this is going on, and during this life, if you want to update, it is very difficult, and it is a most dangerous thing. So one sir has already asked how the government is trying to do, and when the government is entered to help such type of thing, I myself, because I have passed this one incidence, it is not to lodge the complaint, because it is unnecessary wastage of time, and there will be no result.
Please, Samnapa.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, good evening, sir. My question is just wanted to understand how secure are the password managers?
Yeah, if you get into good password managers, they are secure, purely.
And
I would rather term it in that manner that they are 99% secure. No, nothing can be termed as 100% secure.
Is it application, sir?
Yeah. Password managers are applications, and they are 99% secure. Some of them.
and if it lost, then
You should read the terms and conditions or terms of usage. You know, and, I mean, everybody says
intentionally you don't want to, but
everybody says that we are safe, we are good, but we cannot be held responsible in case if anything goes. See, this is a kind of a
I
world.
want to know the process. Intentionality is not if somewhere it has happened. Then what in case, what are the next steps, preventive actions to be taken at that time?
For preventive actions for
Password manager has been lost or
a little longer process. We'll take it offline after
sure,
finishing.
definitely.
Kuntal, you can be in touch with him and explain that what can be done. Yeah. Please, questions. Ji, sir.
Hello, my name is Dr. M.K. Jain.
Ji, sir.
I would like to make one small comment.
Ji, sir.
You see, Mahatma Gandhi ji, he fought for the freedom, and democracy has been imposed on us. I don't know whether we are deserving it or not at that time. Similarly, the democracy goes with education.
Correct.
If there is no education, there is no meaning of democracy.
Correct.
The amount of digitization which has been done in our country today, it requires lot of education, not the awareness alone.
Perfect.
Number one. Number two, 6% of the population of India is today above 70. And these 6% people are all the time being attacked by the hackers.
Correct.
And there is no education to them.
Correct.
I did my PhD in 1978. When I first time used a computer in my university in Glasgow, that was Fortran. I think that technology has gone. We have been learning the things day by day, but it is very, very difficult to reach to the stage which is appearing today.
Correct.
I have got a small suggestion for you and for your business.
Ji, sir.
If you can start the small groups of the elderly people, I don't use the word senior citizens. It could be anybody. Person can be old at the age of 60, he can be old at the age of 75 or 80 or 85.
Correct.
So what I mean to say is that if we form a small groups of people, charge them a consulting fee on the annual basis, whomsoever want to become your member, educate them well, how to be, not to tell them that these are the frauds, these fraudsters will come today, will come tomorrow. You have to basically teach them how they can protect.
Very right.
Not just by knowing the sites, not by telling them you ask them more questions. You see, these people, they are putting new agenda every day. Before we think, they put up their agenda.
I fully agree with you, sir. And for the achievement of this particular objective, we have already taken up multiple actions. The first action is these kind of sessions. Like I myself reached to AMA, I am a patron member of AMA, and I reached to AMA asking them to, have this kind of a session. So I am doing in the month of October, because it is a cybersecurity awareness month, I am doing multiple sessions at various places. So I am trying to educate people from my level that this could be, something, whatever I can deliver in this small piece of, time. Whatever I can deliver, I am trying to deliver that. That is one. Second thing is, within a span of about 1 to 2 quarters, we may come out with a kind of a solution which is known as Cop Connect Cafe. So there will be cybersecurity intervention officers, which are basically, people, those who are coming from different social backgrounds, like lawyers and teachers and, students and everybody, those who are ready to volunteer. They may, get a certification from NSD, knowing as CCIO, which is Cybersecurity Intervention Officer, and they would be available at a certain time to, to assist people, those who are victims. And, this would help rather, scrutinizing the complaints to such a level wherein 80% or 90% of the complaints would go away or can be sorted out. The only 10% complaints which are really needed to be, filed in with the police, that can be done at an offline level, wherein people are not reluctant to get into a police station. So that is a kind of scenario which we are trying to introduce, and probably in a span of maximum 2 quarters, we will come out with this. So good input, sir. Thank you. Any more questions?
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, myself Maulik Modi. I am working in the IT field for the past 20 years, and I have seen that there is an international standard called FIDO2, which allows authenticating without any password, which is promoting passwordless authentication, and you can authenticate using biometric, the way we use fingerprint or retina or other. So why that standard is not getting adopted for authenticating in the websites? And second question is same thing what this guy asked, adoption of Linux. So Red Hat Linux is I think most secure OS, which is used by 99% of the federal companies and Fortune 500 companies. So why it's not getting adopted in the Indian continent?
I mean, I don't have an answer to this, because Linux population is less because it's an open source platform. It is not brought out by a community which can shell a lot of money for marketing of that product. Simple. What will sell? The product which can be marketed, which has a backup of people like Bill Gates, which has a lot of efforts, lot of money involved into it. Wherever you have an open source application, you do not have a backup. It is run by the people, those who are volunteering, and that is why then there are no funds involved, there are no monetary gains, and when there are no monetary gains, the things would run at its own pace, its own speed, and that is why it is not getting popularity. It's as simple as that. So scenarios would be different at different levels in different countries. Like Amsterdam is a country which is completely Wi-Fi. The security level is different at their level. We cannot afford having a completely Wi-Fi Ahmedabad city. The smart city projects are so vulnerable. We know that how they are vulnerable. So, I mean, too many different perspectives to that. So 1 or 2 last questions. We have run out of time too much. तो एमा काई ना, nothing can happen. Nothing can happen. See, if you have given your password or your OTP by your own, yes, that's true. No, no, it is a fraud, but that fraud has concluded because of your mistake. See, I am not, sir. Sir, agreed. I am not here to listen any complaints against government, first of all. Right? Second thing is, if there are things happening like this, there must be awareness prevailing to common men that this should be done and this should not be done. That is what I am for, and that is what I am telling you. Don't give your passwords. If you have given your passwords, if you have given your OTP, you are gone. Your money is gone, and nobody can help you. No bank, no RBI, no superior authorities than RBI can help you. सर वो भी मैंने आपको बोला कि आप तुरंत कुछ टाइम में विद इन सम स्टिपुलेटेड टाइम if you take actions, if you connect your bank, if you connect with RBI also within some stipulated time, there are possibilities that you may save your money or you may get your money back. सर वो आप मानते हो, हाँ वो अलग चीज़ है. Fine. Yeah, I think last two questions, period.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaushik. So, first of all, though, big hand for the cybersecurity awareness trainings.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, जो भी vulnerable होते हैं, उसका 90% यही होता है केसेस की जो अवेयरनेस नहीं है उनको. लाइक दिस कि सर ने कहा कि भी ऐसे ऐसे फ्रॉड हुए. तो आज की मीटिंग के अंदर जो जो जानना मिला है, माइट भी पॉसिबल हो सकता है कल कॉल आ जाए और उस केसेस में ये ट्रेनिंग का हमको बहुत अच्छा बेनिफिट मिलेगा. राइट्स. सो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है सर कि अगर कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ हो जाता है नेटवर्क, ठीक है, तो उसके प्रिवेंटिव एक्शन जो है, हाउ टू सेव द डेटा. डेटा बैकअप तो हमने लिया है, लेकिन रियल टाइम उसको हम किस तरह से और सेव कर सकते हैं. जैसे मेरा नेटवर्क कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ हो चुका है, मुझे पता नहीं है कि नेटवर्क के अंदर 100 सिस्टम में से कितने सिस्टम कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ हुए या नहीं हुए, तो उसको इजी टू डिटेक्ट करने के लिए क्या पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है.
गुड क्वेश्चन, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. सो दिस इज बेसिकली वी डू ऑडिट्स. दिस इज बेसिकली यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑडिट्स. We do various types of audits. We do IT audit, we do cyber security audit, we do information security audit, we do cyber security posture analysis, and we let you know that where do your organization stand as far as the preventive actions, desired preventive actions of your organization's security are there. So we do those kind of audits. Even government also has that facilities for their own governmental departments. But private departments, private companies, they can reach out to people like us, those who can do audits for you. There are various categories of the audits, and we can perform those audits for you and let you know exactly that where do you stand in respect with your own security. So, a valid question, and this is what we can do for that.
See, I am the CISO also from my company. So basically, awareness training given every quarter wise or 6 month wise we do.
Yeah.
Right. But somehow like 100 में से यानी 90 इंसान अच्छे हैं, लेकिन 10 इंसान ने अगर वो अवेयरनेस ट्रेनिंग मेल दिया है कि फिशिंग मेल को,
तो उसके पीछे उसके लिए एक और एक एक्शन है. Since you are a CISO, I may answer that thing. We'll take it offline, but I'll just sum up with this. You can take exams of those guys.
Yeah.
I am also serving as virtual CISO for many companies.
Okay.
What we do is that when we conduct जैसे मैंने अभी आप लोगों का ये सेशन लिया.
True.
फिर then I may send you a question paper to all of you with MOQs.
Okay.
कि ये मेल आए तो क्या करने का, 4 questions, 5 questions, पासवर्ड को किस तरीके से सेट करने का.
It's like mock drill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would help you out. I normally perform it like that.
Hello.
So, last question.
हाँ, last question. Hello sir. અભી અમારે એટલે મારા ઘરે જ પહેલાં જ આ ફ્રોડ થયું હતું. હમણાં 3-4 દિવસ પહેલાં એક લિંક આવી હતી ને અમે જ ફોરવર્ડ કરી હતી એને. એટલે પૈસા જતા રહે, તો શું એ લિંકથી આપણે ફોન હેક થઈ શકે?
હા, તો થઈ જ શકે.
તો હવે આગળ શું કરવાનું સર, એટલે એનાથી બચવા?
આવું તો ઘણા બધા લોકો કરે છે. પેલું 25 જગ્યાએ ફોરવર્ડ, પહેલાં પેલું આવતું હતું કે ભગવાનનો ફોટો આવે કે આ 25 જગ્યાએ તમે ફોરવર્ડ કરશો તો તમારો.
ના સર, એવું નહોતું. એટલે
હા, તો પહેલાં એવું થતું કે તમારી પર માતાજીની કૃપા કે ગણેશજીની કૃપા કેવું. હવે એવું થાય છે કે આ 25 જગ્યાએ ફોરવર્ડ કરશો તો તમને આટલા પોઈન્ટ્સ મળશે કે તમને લકી ડ્રોમાં કંઈક મળશે ના, અને તેને એવું જ કંઈક તમે ફોરવર્ડ કર્યું હશે.
ના, એટલે સર એક સર્ટિફિકેટ આવવાનું હતું તો એણે એ રીતના જ ફોન કર્યો હતો, ક્યાંયથી નંબર લઈને એ રીતના. તે મને એમાં થયું.
વોટ ઇઝ ડન કેનોટ બી અનડન. સી, ઇટ્સ એઝ સિમ્પલ એઝ દેટ. તમે જે ફોરવર્ડ કરી દીધું છે એ હવે પાછું તો આવવાનું નથી, બરાબર? એટ ધ મોસ્ટ તમે એવું કરી શકો કે તમે જેને ફોરવર્ડ કર્યું છે ને એને ફોન કરીને કહો કે ભાઈ આ ફ્રોડ છે, આની પર આગળ નહીં વધતો.
ઓકે,
તો એ તો બચશે માણસ.
એમની આગળ આપણે મોબાઈલની સિક્યુરિટી માટે હવે શું કરવું? એટલે આ જે લિંક આપણે ફાઇનાન્શિયલ
મોબાઈલની સિક્યોરિટી માટે દેર આર વેરિયસ ઓપ્શન્સ. તમે એન્ટીવાયરસ ઇન્સ્ટોલ કરી શકો, પણ આમાં તો મોબાઈલ સિક્યોરિટી હશે કે નહીં કંઈ ફરક નથી પડવાનો, બિકોઝ દેટ થિંગ ઇઝ ફોરવર્ડેડ બાય યુ યોર સેલ્ફ. યુ કેનોટ હેલ્પ ઇટ. સો તમારે જો બચવું હોય, તમને એવું લાગે કે ભાઈ આમાં કંઈ મોલવેર છે કે આવી ગયો હશે અને મગજમાં ડર રહેતો હોય, તો ટેક યોર બેકઅપ ઓફ યોર ડેટા, ફોર્મેટ ઇટ, ફેક્ટરી રીસેટ. So that's the best thing you can do.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very much, and my pleasure to give you an insight about what knowledge I have, and I'll be privileged. I'll be always happy to help all of you, any one of you. We have also proposed to AMA that they would be giving us once in a month or kind of a thing, opens one-on-one meeting sessions. એટલે અહીંયા હું કે મારી ટીમમાંથી કોઈ, અને કુંતલ ઇઝ ફ્રોમ માય ટીમ, મોહિત ઇઝ ફ્રોમ માય ટીમ, એટલે અમારી ટીમમાંથી કાં તો હું કાં તો મારી ટીમમાંથી કોઈ અહીંયા આવીને કલાક એક બેસશે અને તમને લોકોને કોઈને પણ કોઈ પર્સનલ હેલ્પ જોતી હોય તો અમે આપીશું. દેટ ઇઝ વોટ વી આર ટ્રાઇંગ ટુ વર્ક આઉટ વિથ AMA. સો ઇફ દેટ વર્ક્સ આઉટ, વી વિલ બી ઇન્ફોર્મિંગ યુ એટ પ્રોપર ટાઈમ. થેન્ક યુ. નમસ્તે.